Hello everyone, welcome back to my Mentor Math channel. Today I am going to discuss about UPSC NDA Written Examination Paper 1 Mathematics Syllabus. As you know, math is the foundation of your UPSC NDA Written Examination, and understanding the syllabus is the first step of your success. Okay, so today in this video I will break down the syllabus unit by unit and highlight the important chapters and also provide the best strategy to help you succeed. Okay, so let's get started. So now comes to your first part, that is syllabus of mathematics, that is unit 1. You can note please, that is unit 1. You can say that is your algebra part. Okay, so from this algebra unit you can see that is first chapter is your set, chapter number 1. So that chapter already you studied in your class 11 if you are in class 12 now. Okay, and those who comes just finish the class 10, you can see also later on we'll discuss the set chapter. Okay, set chapter, chapter number 1. Second, you can see that is your relations and functions. Actually these chapters from your class 11. Okay, so relations and functions, and these chapters you can see in your class 11 also, and you can see your class 12 also. Okay, 11 and 12 both class you can see. So these chapters, relations and functions. Okay, so now comes to your next part, that is logarithm. Very important, very useful chapter. Next comes to your, that is quadratic equation. Quadratic equation you already studied in your class 10 also, 11 also. Okay, so quadratic equation and inequalities. Okay, so these chapters you can say class 10 and class 11. Okay, and this logarithm basically you will study in class 11 extra, because this chapter is not included in your CBSE syllabus, but we'll study this logarithm chapter. Okay, so now comes to your, you can say it is your binomial, or you can say permutation combination. Before that you can study binomial theorem. Okay, so before binomial theorem you have to study is your permutation combination, permutations and combinations. Okay, combinations, PNC. After that you can study your binomial theorem, because of here you can apply NCR, NPR, whatever. Later on we will discuss regarding this chapter. Okay, permutation combination. And another you can note please, that is sequence and series. Sequence and series. Okay, sequence and series, and also in this algebra part, very most important. And this sequence and series is basically studied in your class 11. Okay, 10 also, 10 and 11, class 10 and 11, very basic. So you already know arithmetic progression like that. Sequence and series you can see class 10 and 11, and this permutation combination also from your class 11 NCERT, class 11 NCERT, binomial theorem also. And now comes to your this very easy and important topic, that is matrices and determinant, that you can study in your class 12 CBSE NCERT, determinants. Okay, so this is your algebra part. Note please. Okay, now comes to your unit number 2. Unit 2, that is trigonometry. Okay, so from trigonometry, ratio, angles and equation, and that part you already studied in your class 10 and 11. Okay, next comes to your trigonometric identity, trigo identity, identity, that already you study in your class 10, and height and distance, and height and distance, that already you study in your class 10. Comes to your properties of triangle, properties of triangle, and last comes to your inverse trigonometric function. You can note please, inverse trigonometric function. Okay, trigonometric function. Achha, that first chapter, that is your, you already study in your 10 and 11, 10, 11 both. This is already you study in your class 10 NCERT. Properties of triangle you can study in your class 11 extra, because it is not contained in your NCERT chapters. So we'll later on discuss. And inverse trigonometric function, that we will study in class 12, and those who finished their class 12 already studied this inverse trigonometric function. So this is your unit number 2, trigonometry. Okay. So next comes to your unit number 3, that is your geometry. 2D and 3D. 2D means two-dimensional geometry and 3D means three-dimensional geometry. 2D part, 2D coordinate system, basic coordinate system in use 2D, and straight line. You already study in your 10 and 11. Comes to your circle chapter, that is part of your conic section. You can study your conic section separately also. Conic sections means that is parabola, hyperbola, ellipse, also including circle, parabola, ellipse, hyperbola. That is a part of the conic section, conic sections. And next comes to your this 3D part, 3D system, three-dimensional system. From 3D dimension, basic 3D system, and as well as you can write note please, that is your straight line in your 3D, and plane topic. Plane is out of syllabus in your class 12, but included in your NDA as well as JEE. Okay, so that will study in your class 12, and this 3D system basic already you study in your class 11 also, and this part circle is also you study in your class 11, conic section also you finish in your class 11, and this coordinate system and straight line also you finished your 10 or 11. Okay, so note please. Comes to your unit number 4, that is your differential calculus. Very important, differential calculus. Mostly you will study in your class 12. Those who finished in your class 12, they already studied. Okay, so now from differential calculus you can see that is limit, continuity, and differentiation. That is already you will study in your class 11. That is some part of limit you already study in your class 11, and the differentiation, basic derivative you solved in your class 11. So basically, actually after that continuity portion you will study in class 12. So 11 and 12 both contain. Okay, this part. Also another differentiation, especially differentiation means derivative, exactly some properties, derivative of logarithm function, exponential function, that is second derivative also you have to study in this chapter, and as well as this parametric form of differential derivatives. Okay, so this such kind of problem you will study in this chapter, differentiation. And after that we will study, that is your application of derivative. Application, very important topic, application of derivative. You can say also AOD. Okay, so this is very important and crucial chapter, application of derivative. Okay, so copy please. Comes to your unit number 5, that is integral calculus. For integral calculus you have to study integration. Okay, so first of all you have to study integration, indefinite integral. After that you can study definite integral. definite integral. And after that you have to study application of calculus. Application of calculus, that is actually you have to find the area of curve using the integration process. So this is the integral calculus part that you have to study in your class 12. Okay, class 12 NCERT CBSE according to your CBSE syllabus. So this is the integral calculus part. Okay, copy please. So now comes to your unit number 6, that is your differential equation. Differential equation. Actually this part contain only ordinary differential equation. So not only partial differential equation, only you have to study ordinary differential equation. This differentiation in your syllabus normally ordinary differential equation. Differential equation, you can sort EQ to the power n. You can write EQ to the power n. So we study in your class 12 CBSE NCERT. And after that you can note please unit number 7 content your vector algebra, very important and easy also. Vector algebra, that is your class 12 syllabus NCERT. Vector algebra means dot product, cross product, you have to find the area, triple product, so that will study in your later class. So vector algebra unit number 7, note please. So now comes to your unit number 8, that is very important, that is statistics and probability. Statistics and probability. So these two chapters contains this topic. Statistics basically you study in your class 11, already done, and probability you study already. You class 10 already you studied, class 11 as well as you have to study in your class 12 also. Okay, so 10, 11, 12. All classes you have to study this probability. So this is the chapter name and the unit wise division. Okay, so this is the basic syllabus. This is a detailed syllabus of your mathematics UPSC NDA paper number 1. So note please, as well as now comes to the most important chapter, so that you can think, yes, I have to qualify this paper number 1, or I can solve 60 questions out of 120 questions, or I can think that that is I have to take 150 plus marks from paper number 1. So please see my lectures and note please, that is the most important topic. Next I will discuss. Okay, so now this is unit number 8, last unit, you can copy this. Now comes to your most important topic. So you can note, you can see chapter name, you can see number of questions, you can see the marks. Okay, so first and most important chapter name is your matrix and determinant. Matrices and determinant. From these chapters you can see 8 to 12 questions. Okay, so you can find out the marks, minimum how many, maximum how many, you can find out. Okay, and number 2, you can see the set plus permutation and combination chapter. So from these chapters you can see also 8 to 12 questions. Okay, and this is your job, you have to find out the marks. Okay, and number 3, and this algebra portion, basically complex number. If I missed this chapter name, just put your algebra portion. Okay, if I missed this chapter name, I forgot the write this chapter complex number in that algebra portion unit number 1. Please mention that name complex number chapter. That is also you already study in your class 11. Okay, so complex number plus, and this is your quadratic equation, inequalities, sequence series. Okay, so sequence series, SS means sequence series. From these chapters you can see again 8 to 10 questions. And number 4, and you can see from Vector algebra plus 3D geometry, you can see 10 to 15 questions comes. Okay, you can note. Okay, next comes to trigonometry. You can see 8 to 12 questions, and you can see very important statistics and probability. From that chapter you can see 10 to 15 questions, very weightage, most weighted questions. Okay, 10 to 15 questions from statistics and probability. Okay, and you can see 2D geometry. 2D geometry also you can see 4 to 6 questions. Okay, so you can, if you calculate all these questions and marks, definitely you can see that almost 160 plus marks minimum you are getting from this chapter if you study seriously and solve the many questions. And concept, you have to clear the concept, you have to solve the PYQs, you have to solve the extra questions. Okay, so regular practice brings more confidence regarding your mathematics paper. Okay, so in my suggestion, every day you have to practice more and more questions. And if you doubt, you can ask me also, and whatever class I will provide, just follow. And every day, time to time, you have to practice this, because if you not practices, if you gap 1, 2, 3 days, this maths is very difficult to solve in that particular 3 hours paper or 2.5 hours paper. So my suggestion is, if you follow my advice, if you solve these questions, whatever questions I will solve, if you follow the important topics, definitely you can clear your UPSC NDA examination. Okay, so that's all for today's class, and next class again I will come and discuss another topic. Okay, so thank you. Jai Hind.